Hey everybody, welcome back to Go Read Some Comics with me, Professor Jenna. My favorite character in all of fiction gets a new solo book this week, and you expect me to not drop everything and talk all about it? Of course, I am referring to Black Canary Best of the Best #1 from writer Tom King, artist Ryan Sook, colorist Dave Stewart, and letterer Clayton Cowles. For those who might not be super familiar, get ready, because you will learn a lot about Black Canary through being a fan of me. Black Canary is one of the longest running heroines in the DCU, created by Robert Kanigher and Carmine Infantino in 1947's Flash Comics 86. She was originally Dinah Drake, a whip-smart femme fatale who split her time between Robin Hooding the criminal underworld and being an unassuming owner of a flower shop. She was one of the first female members of the JSA before jumping over to Earth 1 in the Justice League of America after the death of her first husband. She became best known for her leather jacket, her fishnets, her fighting style, and her supersonic scream called the Canary Cry. Decades later, through some very convoluted means that I will not get into right now, it was revealed that Dinah has an adult daughter named Dinah Lance, who has taken on the Black Canary mantle ever since. She's been a solo hero, a leader of the Birds of Prey in the Justice League, and a romantic and crime-fighting partner with Green Arrow. One of my missions in life has been to read and watch every single thing Black Canary has ever appeared in. Yes, that does include watching Arrow multiple times over. I eagerly await the day that we find out that she's cast in the new DCU, so I was positively elated when Best of the Best was announced earlier this year. I was also very delighted and very honored to get to speak to Tom King about his work on it. The interview was audio only, so I published the full text of it over on my Substack, and you'll hear snippets of that conversation throughout this video as I share my thoughts on the issue. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope I'm able to convince at least one person to run to their store and pick up a copy. If that happens, I've done my job. And it goes without saying, light spoilers. Best of the Best is far from Black Canary's first solo story. In addition to recurring features in Flash Comics, Action Comics, and World's Finest, she's had 4 headlining books over the years. Technically 4.5, if you count when Green Arrow was retitled Green Arrow Black Canary after their very chaotic wedding in the 2000s. The first 2 volumes were a wayward collection of solo stories in the 1990s. Volume 3 saw her dealing with motherhood with her adopted daughter Sin in 2007, and Volume 4 reimagined her as the lead singer of a rock band outrunning supernatural threats. I love each of these solo series for various reasons, but it is undeniable that Best of the Best has the most distinct pitch yet. All 6 issues are set to be structured around a very public hand-to-hand fight between Dinah and her sometimes nemesis Lady Shiva, all to decide once and for all who is the best fighter of the DCU. There will be flashbacks and other storylines weaved in, with issue 1 focusing on Dinah training with her mother Dinah Drake. Without getting too heavy into spoilers, the mother-daughter relationship between the 2 Dinahs is handled so well in this issue. Once the retcon happened in the 80s, it took years for the 2 of them to even be in the same story again, and decades for them to fully suit up alongside each other. Best of the Best #1 lets them coexist beautifully with all of the charm and strife and heartbreak and relatability that entails. The issue gives us some twists and some potential for heartbreak down the line, but I still just remain in utter disbelief that their relationship is even being explored in this way.
You had the perfect word legacy and sort of all that goes with that. And the idea of someone doing the exact job their mother did and the exact job their mother did so well and the job their mother wanted them to do, and yet still feeling all the pressure that goes with that. The idea of I can never sort of fulfill, I can never wear this uniform like she did. I can never fulfill her expectations for me. They're always higher than I can reach. I feel like a lot of people have that relationship with their parents. A lot of daughters have that with their mother. Their mother wants them to be a certain way, and no matter how much they try, how much they conform to that method, they're never exactly the way their mother wants them, and it creates just an endless sort of tension in life between the visions 2 women have for what the other woman should be. And that is sort of what I wanted to delve into, is sort of how you become your own person in the shadow of your mother, and how your mother recognizes you as that person.
Dinah and Shiva's beef could fill a whole separate video in and of itself, but I'll just abridge it by saying in the past, Dinah has fought tirelessly and changed parts of who she is to adequately try to compare herself to Shiva. If you're a fan who does know that rivalry, it can be felt reverberating through the entire issue, but it doesn't become the whole story.
This is not a story about Lady Shiva. She is the heel, but she's not the heel. And if you read the first issue, she's not the big bad. There's a sort of another big bad that's lurking. She's the bad guy in sort of a very vague sort of way, in that she's the champion and she's kind of rude about being the champion, and she takes no, and she thinks of herself as the best of the best, and she doesn't care about Dinah. So that's her. But this is in no way a deep examination of that character or their history. Their fight is an excuse to explore a different history, which is the history between Dinah and her mother. And to sort of point everything back at Black Canary. So the fight, which is the biggest fight with the biggest stakes, it's all about her trying to do something that is literally impossible. She is not as good a fighter as Lady Shiva. Lady Shiva is stronger, faster, more skilled. She should lose this by any level, and it's her overcoming the impossibility of the odds, and that's what Lady Shiva represents.
Sook's art is also just unbelievable, especially where the fight itself is concerned. I am by no means a regular viewer or fan of WWE or boxing or MMA. I turned on the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight out of morbid curiosity and immediately realized,
brilliant. I have absolutely no idea what's going on.
But comics have provided a fun outlet for these kind of impossible stories before, like the landmark 1978 one-shot between Superman and Muhammad Ali. And I am very familiar with the choreography of Canary's fighting style, especially in hand-to-hand combat scenarios like this where she doesn't have her cry. And Sook crafts each panel and each flow of movement in a way that, like I said in my Absolute Universe video, feels cinematic, for lack of a better term. The series also draws clear aesthetic and structural inspiration from Alex Toth's groovy and boundary-breaking and action-filled two-part story in Adventure Comics 418 and 419, which is easily one of my favorite stories in all of comics. There's also one aspect of this issue that I feel immediately sets it apart, not only from Canary's previous solo series, but from most of the stakes of mainstream comics. There is a clear monoculture around the fight, and we get to see on both a massive and micro level how people react to Dinah being in this fight to begin with. Like I said, Black Canary is easily my favorite character in all of DC, which has made it both a blessing and a curse that she is not as well known as she could be. Her impact and her potential are there, and seeing it reverberate throughout the literal universe with billions of people watching live across the planet and beyond, it just makes my heart swell. I feel like it also adds some fascinating stakes to the fight, because if she loses or if she falters in any sort of way, so does her reputation.
These two women are the height of the height of the height, and I wanted to sort of project that, and the way to do it was just to make it very public and make sure that all the eyes were looking at, to also, reflect the fact that people are reading this comic book and that those are the eyes looking at who will win this fight, who actually is the greatest hand-to-hand fighter in the DC universe. That was part of it. This is a public fight. It's essentially for money. It's in Las Vegas. It's the thing you'd see on TV any day. Why the hell would a superhero do this? A superhero doesn't do public fights. Batman is not like, oh man, I'm gonna go find out if I'm better than the Riddler today, so let's get in a ring in Vegas and take bets on it. Like, that's not a thing. So the fact that she has agreed to do this, the fact that she hasn't told any of the Justice League, as in the book, including Green Arrow, including Ollie, that's a clue to sort of, there's a deeper layer to this fight that's revealed in the last page of this thing.
I also have to mention Sook's double-page spread of Green Arrow and the Justice League in casual clothing watching the fight on TV. As I have said on this channel before, and probably will say a million more times, superhero teams like the League have the capacity to really feel like a found family, and they clearly do here. I have a feeling that this is going to be one of those images that is circulated around DC fandom for years to come, and I love that. For the sake of spoilers, there's one twist in Best of the Best that I'll save for when I talk about issue 2, but I love that we're already getting to kind of peel back the proverbial onion of what this series is capable of. I can go on an hour-long rant about how we need more perennial stories for superhero characters, which can be presented in one complete package for both diehard fans and newbies alike. It's undeniable that Tom has become a master of this over the years, with Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, Mr. Miracle, Strange Adventures, just to name a few. I love the idea of Best of the Best being one of those stories that can draw fans into the world of Black Canary and then inspire them to explore her other stories from there, and I cannot wait to see what the remaining 5 issues have in store. Thank you guys so much for watching. This definitely won't be the last time I talk about this book on this channel, and it hopefully won't be the last time that I feature Tom on here to talk about it too. I hope you have a happy and safe holiday weekend and are able to enjoy some comics in your downtime, whether it is Best of the Best or JLU #1 or the many other comics that are coming out this week. You can find me on social media at Hey It's Jenna Lynn, and as always, go read some comics.